This is Brian, and welcome back to Final Fantasy X. Gonna give the lightning dodging another shot here today and see if we do better than we did last time. Made it to 135 in a row before I got my butt singed. I always remember thinking as a kid when I played this that this seemed impossible. Before I discovered this trick, and I don't remember where I first read about it online, but yeah, the first several playthroughs I had of this game, I'd never come anywhere near close to getting this. Just because I couldn't dodge more than like 3 or 4 in a row before I'd get hit. It seemed impossible. So I don't know if people are just better at this than me, or, well, I mean, assuming there are a lot of people that are, but I wonder if the developers kind of meant for this to be the way to do this. Be interested to know that. Anyway, I'm just going to try to go through this. I don't know if I'll take as many pause breaks, or if I'll just try to do as much as I can in a row without stopping, probably. The only thing is keeping count. You can get a little hard, but probably won't be commenting too much here. Let's see how we can do. All right, here we go. Well, I wanted to go a little longer than that. I don't know if that's good enough. I was kind of just doing the thing where I've done it before and it seemed like it was working out pretty well for me, where I just don't even count, just go on time. And I kind of feel like I came up short. There's one for 150, so we got that. 4 mega elixirs. Alright, I think I got it. The Venus Sigil. Let's see how far I was actually at. I was planning on going for like 3 or 4 more minutes. Because yeah, what I've done before, and it does help me at least, and I don't know about anybody else, but yeah, just don't count it all, because sometimes that distracts me, and or if you know you're like getting there, that it gets you, I don't know, more anxious or something and more likely to mess up. And actually, I probably even, most times I just turn on some different music in the background and mute the game and do it, because that way I'm really just focused on where I gotta go and not paying attention to the music or anything. Whew. Well, I didn't have a ton to spare, but we did it. And I don't want to have to do that again for a while.
Yeehaw! Here we go!
Well, let's go see what that sigil will do. That is Lulu's. We got her sigil and her crest now. We can take them back into that special place in the woods where we got the celestial mirror activated. We can use that to upgrade her weapon to full power. That'll be the first celestial weapon I have completed. It's not exactly the one that I'll use the most, because I don't really utilize her that much in the end game, but it is one of the faster ones to get, I think, overall. Titus's can be pretty fast if you're good at the chocobo racing. And Kamari's can be pretty fast as well. That's the next one I'm going to try for. But I think Lulu and Kamari will be the only ones I pick up before I go through to try to beat the game, and then we'll come back and do the rest of the side quests after that. Who will present their weapon? Lulu. Complete the ritual? Yes. Yeah, there's the Onion Knight. The weapon's power has grown. I can actually go ahead and just get everybody presented, everyone that I have at least, because we have the crest for all of them, so it'll go ahead and do this once for the crest, and then you have to do it again when you get the sigils. So even Lulu's, I'll have to do it again, but I'm going to show where it's at, I think, now before we do the sigil. With the Mars crest, The weapon's power has grown. With the Saturn crest, don't have walkers yet. So let's put the Mercury crest onto the God Hand. Yeah, hers is the only one, I guess, that kind of like stays attached. Everybody else, it shows the weapon floating out there on its own. Alright, let's just show where they're at with one upgrade. Because before, they were all just 4 or 3 empty slots and one that said no AP. So it's still no AP, but double overdrive for him for the Khalid Bulg. Double overdrive. I don't remember if they're all double overdrive. Looking like it so far. Yeah, so no AP, double overdrive. That's not really that great. So even with just the crest, they're not that good. Must offer the Venus Sigil. Complete the ritual? Yes. The weapon attains its maximum power. Alright, so what will the Onion Knight do for her now? Break damage limit, which means you can go from... Before, the most we could do was 9,999. Now the most she can do is 99,999. Triple overdrive just means your overdrive gauge fills up 3 times as fast. Magic booster. That's the one that just makes your magic spell stronger, I think. I don't remember what else is involved in it, if anything. And 1 MB cost, so it becomes a really good spellcaster with that. She doesn't really have any spells that are that great yet, though, at this point anyway, I don't think. Towards the end, like once you can start to get like Ultima maybe, or Flare, those become pretty powerful. But we gotta get her stats built up to really do much with them anyway. But at least we have that now. Not gonna do much more today, I just want to get to the next area I want to go to here. Because I'm gonna stay in Macalania Woods. And we're gonna work on butterfly catching next. Because that will allow me to get Kamari's weapon upgraded all the way. As long as I can get it done. I don't remember having as much trouble with the butterfly catching as with some other things. It's not one of the easier things still, but some people seem to have a lot of trouble with it and consider it to be maybe the hardest side quest, or one of the hardest at least. I'd put it about in the middle. It's not as hard as lightning dodging, I don't think, and it's certainly not as hard as chocobo racing. But yeah, it might be next in line after that. There are 2 areas to do it. I don't remember which one gets you the sigil. One of them is in this screen, and the next one's going to be the next screen over, I think. I did some of them earlier in the game when we were able to do it on our first trip through here. So we are a little bit familiar with it already here if you've watched through the whole thing. So that'll be the plan, to work on butterfly catching, and if I get it all done, we might go ahead and move on with the main regular storyline after that. And if I do have trouble with it, well, it might take us the whole time to just be doing butterfly catching. And it might be more than one part if it's that bad, but I hope not. Anyway, thanks for watching, and if you've been enjoying the content so far, please Please like, comment, and subscribe or follow, and we'll catch you next time.